Marc here, co-founder of Tracify, and in today's video I want to talk with you about why tracking and attribution is so important and why you make completely different decisions based on different attribution. And I prepared some slides, and you can see attribution and tracking like the cockpit of a ship, because you want to navigate to a certain direction, and it's very important to have the right control systems in place and that they are accurate, because it can make a huge difference if you like direct into this direction here or into this direction. And also if you choose this direction, you end up in a completely different way in comparison if you choose this way. That's why it's very important to have the right tracking attribution in place. And I want to show you why attribution matters a lot. How the wrong attribution eats away your profitability. And I prepared an example of a customer journey in order to explain your attribution. And if we look at the customer journey, we have on day 1, activation through meta ad, person clicks on an ad. Day 4, discovery again on TikTok, clicks on the TikTok ad. Day 7, reminder through meta, retargeting ad, clicks on that retargeting ad. Day 10, searching after the brand, clicks on Google branded search ad. And then day 13, newsletter opt-in and conversion, purchase with newsletter discount. So we have a customer journey of around 13 days, and the person clicks on different ads on different channels. We now want to know the question of attribution. Which touch point gets which credit for the sale? And this is the question attribution answers. So we have a lot of touch points. We've made one sale, and now it's the question, okay, which touch point gets which credit? And based on that credit, we allocate our marketing budget. So if we look at last click Google Analytics, so what does Google Analytics tell you? Google Analytics looks at the entire customer journey, or the customer journey they can track. They don't track a long customer journey because they are based on cookies. However, they tell you last click, and last click means the last touch point gets 100% credit of the sale. And the last touch point was the newsletter discount code. The person clicked on the newsletter link and then used the code. And that's why probably email marketing gets 100% here. So does this reflect the customer journey correctly? I would say no, because if we look at incrementality, which is the question, okay, which touch point was actually essential for the purchase, I would argue that these touch points were way more essential and incremental than this touch point here. But most people, most brands that are working with Google Analytics would look at this touch point here and would say, okay, this is an email sale. Maybe we should do more emails. I don't know. Or maybe we should downscale our meta ads because they are not working. But what they are not seeing is that actually the person only got to this point because of those meta and Google ads here. And this is quite common, and that's why it's very dangerous to optimize based on last click, especially the push channels, to optimize them on last click, because what you can see here is that it has a bias towards the bottom of funnel, even though top of funnel has most times a much higher incrementality. If you now look at, hey, yeah, but I would also look at meta, what does meta see? Meta tells you also on last click how the performance is. And what meta does is they only isolated look at meta. So they would give 100% of their, if it stays within the attribution window, and it does here because day 13, day 7, meta has an attribution window of 7 days, it would allocate 100% of the sale to the meta retargeting ad. Does this reflect the customer journey and the incrementality of every touch points correctly? I would say no. So you would also maybe scale this ad, but maybe this ad was not that important. It was just like, for example, a reminder, and you would love to scale this ad or this ad. So we would also make the wrong decisions. So if we look at this customer journey, in this case, you would make a wrong decision. In this case, you would make a wrong decision. So what does TikTok tell you? TikTok also has 7 days of attribution. Since this was at day 13 and this on day 4, we have 9 days in between. So TikTok doesn't see this click anymore. And TikTok will tell you there was no sale. So basically, you cannot track it. You're not seeing it. So you can also make no decisions. And worst case, you would downscale TikTok, even though this was maybe a very important ad. So you're getting the problem. So based on attribution, based on inferior tracking, based on very static, biased attribution, it's very hard to make the right budget decisions, the budget allocation decisions. And that's why Tracify, for example, is so powerful. Next example, if we look at Google Ads, Google Ad would say, hey, branded search. Everyone knows that ROAS of 5, 6, 7. And this is because, okay, a person clicks and converts, 100% goes there. But does that reflect the customer journey and the marketing incrementality of every touch point? Of course, no. You already know the answer. So if we now look at this customer journey, what Tracify will tell you, okay, scale your meta ad here, which is definitely a reasonable decision. Because if we scale more of the activation ads, probably this will happen anyways. So if we want to scale, we need to push our top of funnel and bring more users into the funnel, cold users that convert. So this is something, not Google Analytics, not Meta, not TikTok, like no one could tell you that. Especially if the customer journeys are longer, no one except Tracify could tell you that you have to scale actually this ad. And that's why this is so powerful. And that's why also I love to optimize Meta, for example, based on first click in order to understand, okay, which are the ads that really bring new people in the funnel, because these are the ads I want to scale. So, but of course, it's not 100% fair, because of course, this was one of the most essential touch points, but they deserve more than 0%. So what we do here is, for example, we could use our AI attribution. And let me quickly explain our AI attribution. The AI understands perfectly the incrementality of every touch point based on the user behavior. So the AI now understands every touch point based on the user behavior in the complete multi-channel context, and now gives credit based on how important the touch point was for the customer journey. And this is like an example now. It could be for every customer journey differently. It's calculated for every customer journey and touch point individually. The meta ad was the first ad, activation, most incremental one, 35%. TikTok ad was also very important, 20%. Meta ad, 20%. Searching after the brand, 15%, because they already emotionally bought, for example. And that's why only 15%. And 10% was only like the last push. So maybe they would have bought anyways, but maybe one day later. So basically it only gets 10%. And that's why this is very powerful, because you get the real value of the touch point and can scale very profitably, because maybe you would increase here a bit, maybe downscale here a bit. That's basically why attribution matters a lot, because it is the perspective of the advertiser and the decision maker on the data. And you can look from different perspectives, and different perspectives will lead into different directions. And that's why you have to choose your perspective wisely and have to use a sophisticated attribution model, either AI attribution, that's what we recommend for the most brands, or for example, if you only look at Meta, you can also use first click, but you have to be well educated to understand all the attribution if you use a static model. So the easiest way is to use AI attribution. And that's why this is so important, and why the best advertisers are really taking care about the attribution model, because they know based on different models you would make different decisions. I hope this video was interesting and gave you the right insight to understand, hey, why attribution is so important. Feel free to book a free demo with one of our tracking experts and test Tracify risk-free. I'm excited to see what different decisions you would make based on our AI attribution, for example.